for a little while. Quite a while, in fact, while those shields recharge. He's going to go in. Going to go for yet another drop, apparently. Going to think of using his ghost yet again. Carriers, meanwhile, just trying to hold position outside of Canata's base. Kind of semi... Carrier... not sure whether... Yep. That spotted the dropship. Carrier started following the dropship slowly but surely, I think. So definitely spotted it. Going to see whether Canata going to go for the exact same base. There are going to be cannons put all over the place. But yeah, the carrier definitely spotted that dropship because it's been following it. Dropships heavily damaged, still going to go all over the place. If you manage to get a nuke on those carriers, that would be absolutely epic. There are, observers all over the place at this point just searching. And I think for Canata at this point it would be even more viable to just... He's going to nuke the natural. He's going to nuke... Is he going to go for the main? He is going to go for the main. The observer there. Oh, going to try to hide behind the side disruptor. Going to get another nuke off. Going to go right for the next expansion. Observer and Zilla in play. Yeah, that's not going to happen. That nuke's not going to do anything. Ghost's going to get taken down meanwhile. So yeah, going for the low right hand I think is risky. Observer going to picked off really with the help of that... With the help of that science vessel, I'm sorry. Still some sword coming off from the most high Templar, but getting melted at this point. 3-3 upgrades ready for Canata, so he has a fully upgraded army to BeSt very little. Getting a lockdown off. Goodbye, a carrier. Finally, some freaking lockdowns. The carrier barely managed to survive. Science vessel also picking down, but finally some lockdowns. This should have happened ages ago, I feel. Still heavily shield damaged carriers, but yeah, those lockdowns are exactly what he needed earlier on. Those High Templars at least are really helping him pick off, not managing to pick off that one single lockdown carrier. Not that many Goliaths on the field. A lot of tanks, though, to pick off all those. Yeah, that's why you saw a lot of Dragoons, a lot of High Templars. There were now 2 Dragoons and a few High Templar. One more shot! Yeah, carrier goes down. Storms coming off against those tanks. Still storming some forces here and there, not managing to get all that. Some tanks still just trying to mill out a little bit, pick up a more defensive position. Canata has mined out the upper left hand, still mining the natural there, but I feel he needs to take the island at the 9 at this base. Try to keep a base ahead because he has done some economic damage to BeSt. I feel at the expense of not really helping himself. A bunch of ghosts that were killed, that that's getting the covert ops, that's getting the silo, that's killing your comset station. Still gonna find some carrier production towards in the lower left hand. Finally going to move out, put turrets all over the place. Actually thinking of taking the mineral only. Carrier's going to move into that. Also some ground forces moving in. Zealots alongside Dragoons, and he has a lot of tanks on top of that ridge. Some forces going to move in. We're going to see what they manage to do. Carriers alongside Goliaths, not too close. Some tanks on the ridge trying to engage as well. Also fighting a lot of forces. Goliath's going to engage all those interceptors. Interceptors picking off a lot of those tanks on the ground. Going to pick off all the defensive buildings. All the turrets going down. Now BeSt is going to move back. Not losing a single carrier. Just interceptors. Still heavily damaged in the shield sense, but still staying alive in this. Oh man, this is tedious is the good word to describe this game. BeSt still getting... ground army has 8 gateways at this point, I believe. Still going around trying to prevent the mineral from being because he knows if he can hold him in, dropship almost getting picked off. He knows if he can hold Canata inside and not allow him to expand, he's going to be in a pretty good position. Scans going off. There's of course a concentration on the natural expansion, but yeah, BeSt is at this moment mining at the 12, mining at the lower right, lower right and main and natural, getting his mining up, mining at the 9 o'clock island. Just 4 mining bases to Canata's 1, so I think at this point this game is pretty much moving in favor of BeSt. Canata had some chances to get back into this, but at this point BeSt has just been allowed to micro up way too heavily. Those nukes I feel were an absolute waste of time still. If it had lockdowns, I feel those carriers would have all been dead at this point. He wouldn't have lost as many Goliaths to those carriers. But at this point, I feel the carrier number is way too high. Interceptor count is way too high. His Goliaths number way too low. They can't really engage, and he can't really continue rebuilding those Goliaths. Also, if he starts losing all those tanks, he's going to be in a lot of trouble because he's not going to be able to rebuild those at all either. 9 o'clock island is still viable, but he's going to have to build up a high defensive grid before he even thinks of taking it. And at this point, I think this game is just slowly but surely, not even slowly but surely, but very much out of Canata's hands. BeSt has just managed to micro up. In a macro game, it's hard to beat BeSt. Really, it's very hard. And this has been a very confusing, unorthodox, crazy macro game, but this has been a macro game. And BeSt in a macro game is not something you want to do. He's now taking the mineral only outside the lower right hand. It's just been, for so long, so many bases over Canata at this point. No really chance for him. He's upgrades behind, but that upgrade advantage will only give you so much. More upgrades coming in. The covert ops, probably the spell upgrade at this point. Still producing a lot of ghosts. Maybe finally thinking, oh yeah, maybe we should have gone for lockdown after all. Yeah, even if he manages to nuke a base, he's not going to take out an expansion alongside. Nuke's just going to kill off the probe. That means, you know, you're not going to raise it, unless you raise the base to the ground, that's not going to help. He is going to, meanwhile, okay, get another EMP off on those carriers. They're going to hold them off for a little bit longer, but there's just Goliath's number is not high enough, I feel. And BeSt just getting mining off like crazy. Not quite sure how much mining. Okay, they're plenty of mining at the 12 o'clock. Not, yeah, just almost fully saturating every single one of his bases, and just so far ahead at this point. Just look at the small number of forces Canata has. He barely managed to keep up production. He has a command center ready just to float towards the mineral only, but there's no way he's going to be allowed to. Just the defensive just doesn't have a strong enough posture. Way too many interceptors coming in, picking off those tanks. Eventually, very soon, in fact, I think his ground forces are going to come in and just clean this up. Carriers have done their job, picking off all those tanks. Not quite a large enough ground army to really engage, but I think he has enough zealots to actually just run in, mine drag all those mines into everything. Just at this point, he's so far ahead, he can actually allow himself to sacrifice some zealots. There are some ghosts out on the field, I assume, for some lockdowns. There is, I think, a nuke ready, but not much else. Goliath's going to move back, pick off an observer there. 6 ghosts just sitting around ready to go. One going to go into a dropship apparently, so he's going to at least attempt to nuke something else yet again. But those carriers at such a large number. Lockdown is going to come in. 1 lockdown. That's it, 1 lockdown. So 1 carrier is going to lose its life. Second lockdown, it's a little bit far back though, but only a few hits on it will kill it. You really want to wait for those carriers to come in close, lock down as many of them as you can. Then you're going to force the other carriers back, and you're going to be fairly open to attack those. But just with a small number of tanks that he has, not going to be allowed to lock down anything. Ghosts still in position, waiting to give themselves the position so they can lock down something, but not in a very good position to really do so. Dragoons coming in close, picking off mines with the help of observers at this point. High Templar still in the mix, going to be able to storm only a few tanks behind them on those ridges. And as soon as those tanks, all of those tanks get picked up, I feel BeSt is going to be able to move in and stomp this completely. Canata, just because of how little he's mining, how long he's been mining less than BeSt in a horrible position. BeSt being going to take mineral only at the lower left hand, and he's completely dominating. He has absolute map control, has vision on pretty much all the bases on the map, knows everything that's going on, knows everything. Even taking the 9 o'clock island at this point is just horrible position for Canata. Just one single push is all that it's going to take. We're going to see whether Canata is going to try to go for some sort of last hurrah, move out with ghosts and Goliaths and the few tanks he has, and try to at least pick off those carriers and some of that in the army before he GGs, because that's really the only thing I'm seeing. Only little bit of glory he can put left. Yeah, the 9 o'clock island's going to get taken out. Tanks are going to come down, siege up, Goliath's in position, and even one single science vessel possibly get BMP. He's going to take that base no matter what at this point. He's going to move out. Goliath's going to start engaging those interceptors. One single lockdown goes loses its life to lock down a carrier, but the command center is going to go down to those interceptors. No chance whatsoever, and I'm seeing a GG in seconds at this point. One single lockdown, but yeah, Canata knows by his face you can tell he knows he's lost this. But this is BeSt matchup. This is BeSt just playing damn good in a macro game, so hard to beat. He managed to get himself into the game properly, and I feel while Canata managed to get his position up pretty well, it's still BeSt just managed to get in the game quicker, get his macro up quicker, losing. Even a nuke going to come down on top of those carriers and all those ground forces. And I think actually, yeah, okay, no, there is no observer in place. The nuke is going to come down. I'm going to see what it does. No single observer. Nuke comes. No, where's the nuke? Where's the nuke? Oh, look at that nuke. Killing so many of those carriers. Finally, the carriers coming in. But GG from Canata. So he gives it at least one big wha-pow at the end there, getting a nuke off. But just to a very, very weird-ass start to an eventual crazy game. And just having those carriers in play, having that map control was what really won BeSt the game. So he's at least going to hug his teammate. Both players just laughing their asses off. Dude, what the hell was that? What the hell did we just do? Kind of fun to see these guys. These are sort of a second stringers off the main team, you could say. Of course, you have BeSt and Fantasy leading, but BeSt and Canata right after him. Guess you could count Hyuk there too, but he's out of the tournament, so it doesn't matter. So eventually you're going to be looking forward to the second, possible third set, but I'd say that's a pretty good start to the round of 16, as insane as it was. So next up, I am going to be bringing you guys Flash and Zero, the first set there. So look forward to that. GG guys, wrenching out. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed. That was nuts.